Selamat datang and hello everybody to our next video. Today's one we'll try and make it a bit different because we're going to cook, or we're going to try and do fried rice um, in about 1 hour from start to finish, including cooking the rice, which is kind of a bit of a controversial opinion, I guess, because most of the time fried rice, they always ask you to have leftover or overnight rice at least to dry it out. For me, the most important part is the choice of rice, and I'm going to be using a parboiled as I always do, because it's a very forgiving type of rice, and it's perfect for this type of rushes and doing this type of cooking. So this is what we normally use. Yes, I know that's already kind of a controversial opinion because everyone's always saying using jasmine rice, but jasmine tends to be a lot softer. And we normally use parboiled because it's a very forgiving rice, as I said. Just so slightly, perhaps, quote-unquote healthier, because it's already removed some of the starch in the process. So I have here 2 cups, 2 bowls more or less of parboiled rice, which I'm going to fill up with water and then cook. Just joking. I have to wash it, being Asian. I think we all know if we don't wash our rice, that's a recipe for disaster, not least that we get disorderly. So I'm going to wash my rice and come back to you. I'll do it until it runs clear as standard, about 3 times. And then let's walk through the different process steps that we will do, some of which is different, but like I said, the first thing we're going to do first is cook, and then let the rice cool somewhat. But yeah, the idea is to get fried rice ready more or less within 1 hour, including cooking this rice part. So I've got the rice washed now. Now is the water ratio, and this is maybe the first point to talk about already, because normally I'll use 1 bowl of rice to 1.5 bowls of water, 1.5 bowls of water. I still have some there, so it's fine. And this rice is somehow okay. So, but since I'm going to use it now, I'm going to try and reduce the water a bit, so it will not be as liquid as when cooking it for normal consumption, because I'm going to fry it straight, so I don't mind if it's a bit harder. So I've already got 2 in, and normally then this will be 3 bowls. I'll put it somewhere just a bit more, so slightly around 1.1, 1.2, something like that. And then that's done for the rice. So you can put some fat here to flavor it. Since I've got to cook for vegetarian, I'm going to put some mushroom powder in as a flavor. Flavoring the rice means that you don't have to flavor it so much later. And because if you use, especially if you use soy sauce, then you introduce liquid later. So it's not a bad idea to flavor it now. Most people use fat. I use mushroom powder. You could also add some sort of flavored oil. If you like. I'm thinking what sort of flavored oil. Yes, I have truffle oil, so I will use some truffle oil. And before anyone accuses me of being elitist, no, I mean, it's more just to give it a bit of flavor, because I can't use any more fat anyway, at least not today. So some truffle oil just to give it a bit more flavor. And yeah, this should also help with the rice not sticking so much. So it's going in. It's going to be cooked in my rice cooker. I'll come back to this once that's done. Okay. So rice done. We're gonna take it out and let it cool. Generally, the idea is to fluff it at least. Yeah. So I'll do a bit of fluffing. Yes, I'm going to use my spatula so I don't scratch anything. Fluff the rice, but look at that. I mean, yeah, it's a bit hard, as you can see, but generally, yeah, it's solid. You can see it's more or less singular already anyway. So And this is the thing with parboiled rice, I mean, it makes it super easy. Of course, there are certain things you can do with parboiled rice. You can't make porridge with it, obviously, because it's so solid. That what are the one of the benefits here will obviously not be a benefit when it comes to porridge. So porridge, I normally just buy porridge rice, which is maybe broken rice or whatever that could work. So I'm going to put this out to cool down, and then we can start prepping. So took a while, but I've got everything that I need now. Starting the fire up, just going to heat up the wok. Rice, as you can see, has been sitting around. It's quite good, I would think. Actually, yeah, I'll put some, just because I'm starting off with the sticky stuff like the mushrooms, just a bit of oil just to heat up. Now, we talked a lot, or at least everyone knows when you talk about fried rice, you need a lot of heat and Wok Hei. I've been reading up a lot on that, and what I find, for me personally, really helps is using an induction stove that has a boost capability, because to me it allows to replicate a lot of the Wok Hei stuff, and I'll show it to you in a short while. But I brought a little friend, which maybe you could kind of guess based on the thumbnail picture that I put in, that will try and help this. But maybe I'll disappoint you, because I'm actually not going to bring in a flamethrower, despite what the picture shows. But yeah, maybe I spoiled it. So maybe spoiled the surprise a bit. But let's see. You'll see it in a short while. So we're starting off with the mushrooms. Yeah, at least some of the sticky stuff to start cooking it down. I'm doing two batches, the meat one and the non-meat one. But yeah, so the meat one, I'm putting it, yeah, a bit less mushrooms, obviously, because there's meat, so don't really need it. Putting some of the harder stems of the celery in. Oops. That's just the practice for what we need to do later. Now I will admit, or I'll be the first to admit, that my tossing skills are not great, so I'll be using the shoveling technique most of the time, because yeah, I have to make up for it. But you know, in a short while I will need to control a flame source, so that will be interesting. Please bear with me, because I've never really done that before, at least not with a wok and a spatula on one side. So let's wait for the mushroom to brown. So it's browning nicely. I'm just going to add a bit more oil, because next is the eggs. Yes, I know some people may complain, why is my sausage so big? Yeah, I'll admit I was a bit lazy with doing that, so don't mind me. Sure, you will need to cut it smaller generally, but my kids don't mind, so my kids are really the only ones who are going to eat this anyway, so it's okay. So now we're going to put in eggs. Fine spot. So we put in. And why do we cook the eggs so early? Because I like to stick a little trick to it, which means that I like to put the liquid seasoning, in this case fish sauce or soy sauce or what have you. I like to put it in with the eggs, so that when you cook the rice, it generally doesn't become so sticky or wet. So I know most people do cook their eggs early in the beginning as well, so this is, I guess, normal. But I like to put my seasoning, the liquid ones, especially early. Okay. I thought I had fish sauce, but it's not opened yet, so I need to open this, so don't mind me. So mushrooms are looking good, and I'm going to throw in my meat sauce for the non-vegetable version. Yeah. Oops, I need my light. Yes. Okay. You can see I'm still on medium heat. I generally prefer more control at this early phase, so I'm not going to use such a high heat now. It's gonna give the mushrooms, both the sausages and the mushrooms some color. Then once that's browned a bit, you can cook up the eggs. So I've got my fish sauce finally open. I'm gonna put some to taste. Yep. Oops. Yeah, and yeah, as you can see, my eggs are sticking a fair bit. I'm not too concerned though, because at the heat that we will work with, we will figure it out later. And I'm putting in a lot of wet stuff with the rice in that sense. So the egg parts, I'm not concerned about the stickiness. I mean, of course, in a wok, you'll put way more oil. I try not to put so much oil, so there's always this threat of stickiness. But it's okay. I mean, for me, it's one of the trade-offs that you've got to make. Especially when home cooking, you know, how much oil do you put in, that kind of thing. I know. I mean, yeah, purists would argue you put in as much oil as you need, however much that is. But yeah, I mean, I always try to strike a balance. In any case, liquid stuff is in. At this point, yeah, some people may argue that you don't need to put Maggi sauce in, or your soy sauce seasoning in. Like I said, I generally try and put my liquids in, but with the fish sauce, I know that most of it is already in there, so it's not so bad. Okay, so the eggs more or less done. Let's go in with the rice. And yeah, I've already got some mixed in. So you can see with the rice, it's generally not bad. So I will go with that for now. Oh, do I have a lot of proteins? But yeah, it's nice. Alright, so just going to start cooking up the rice. Now is a good time to put some flavoring in. I know people put pepper at the end, put some salt in early. So let's do some salt. As you remember, I've already kind of flavored it already, so I should not need so much salt. You can see some charring here and there from the burnt eggs. That will all work in our favor. But I'm going to start bringing in my vegetables already. But let's just give it there in a short while. And yeah, in a short while I'm going to introduce our little friend to end the suspense for you, I hope. But this is more or less ready. So I'm going to put in the corn already. It's fine. As you can see the popping sound, and this is not on boost mode yet. So the rice is already popping. So I know there's always this question how high fire you need, but I always find at home induction, yeah, you don't really need such a high fire. But for the sake of this video, let me bring in my friend. And yep, here we are, my friend, the hot air gun, or the heat gun if you like it, depending on who you talk to. Yeah, my cable is going all over the place. It's electric source, and you can go up to 600 plus degrees, which is perfect for what we need to do. No, not perfect compared to a flamethrower, which can easily get double or triple that. But, you know, we are in at home. I mean, I live in an apartment, you know. We work with what we have. And like I said, I kind of prefer using more the boost function on the induction. But I wanted to show you if you did not have the boost function, what you could do. And short of using a flamethrower, which I used to have actually, funnily enough, this is a good option. The heat gun has helped me a lot for a lot of browning or searing responsibilities in the past, especially when you don't have like a proper grill. You can see I'm just going to show you some browning action. It's great. But honestly, you can hear the wok is doing its part with the induction anyway. And I literally had to lower the fire and to get the to prevent the burning. So yeah, I mean, is it really necessary? No. Does it look cool? Sure. Does it add flavor? I will argue, as you can hear from the popping, it has its value and it has a certain value. But how much of that is needed? Yeah, I mean, that's up to you. And if you see the amount of skill, you see I'm holding the wok with my stomach because I can't do the flip so well. And it takes a lot of hands for this. Yeah. So unless you have a stand, that's always going to be an issue. So let me show you the alternative of what it's like if you don't have one of these things. So I'm going to go put it to cool. And as you can see, it's set to cool. A word of warning though, if you are thinking of getting a heat gun, don't simply get any, because there are a lot of cheap heat guns out there with asbestos heating, and that is not a good thing you want in your cooking. Yeah, asbestos is not a good heat source because it's, I don't need to mention about the dangers of asbestos. So you're going to increase the heat. I'm going to do 8. Only to just give me a bit more control while I'm doing this. And you can hear the heat gun still going. I'm going to put my paprika in, or some paprika in, because we're almost done. As you can see, no clumping on the rice. Rice is generally good. I didn't have to use much oil. That's another peeve I know, or another myth, that you need a lot of oil. You don't really need a lot of oil. So now let's do pepper. And the last is normally soy sauce, but I leave that for right at the end, and I only put a little bit because I tend to not want too much soy sauce in this. I prefer salt and just, giving it a light flavor. But yeah, let's taste in with a spoon. And let's see. As you can hear the popping. Yes, almost there. Flavor is fine. Let the beans cook a bit more. Now we can do a bit of Wok Hei stuff. And I'm putting it on 9. You can definitely use the induction, the boost function, but I don't want to burn anything. So I'm just putting it on 9. And from my experience, you can see, and you can hear it for sure, the sounds. Yeah, I don't really need to use the boost function even with 9. It's, you can see some burning already, and it's good. So you can definitely do it at home if you have induction. If you don't have heating induction, like I said, you can use the heat gun elements. Sure, that will work. Is it the best compared to a giant fire-breathing monster that they use in the professional kitchens? Obviously not. But you get what you can, right? So it's all about making do. And you can see, yeah, it's got some nice charring. The steam is great. I got no complaints. And I haven't even used the boost function yet. Yeah. So, and that's it. Just in time. So I'll do the veggie. I'm going to scoop this up. This one's done. You can see the rice is not clumpy. It's great. The rice is very forgiving with parboiled rice. So that is always my recommendation. Of course, the purists will insist on jasmine, but yeah, I stick with parboiled. So I'm going to go scoop this out. This is done. So before I put this into the microwave, I just wanted to show you. Look at that. Yeah. So no clumping. Everything's great. It's nice. And most of all, Wok Hei. And you can see some burnt parts. Not really burnt, but you can see Wok Hei parts. So yeah, definitely doable. You don't really need a heat gun, but let's go with that. So I've got the new round starting for the vegetarian version. I'm doing mushrooms, as you can see. Probably good time to talk about the pan you can use. I know a lot of people will say, definitely not recommend you to use non-stick. I actually used to use some sort of non-stick wok before this. Definitely don't use a pan, obviously. I used the term pan wrongly. But yeah, I mean, you need a wok for sure. You can cook with non-stick, but I strongly recommend not to, of course, because, the layer, the peeling, especially if you don't heat it up properly, can come off. So, and that could damage the food and your health. I am testing this type of hybrid pans, a cheap type. Obviously, I can't afford the expensive types. unless I get much sponsor. Never know. But yeah, I mean, these hybrid pans, as you can see, I didn't even notice from some of my cooking videos already. They're generally quite good. I mean, they are obviously not non-stick pans. You need some sort of oil. But I would not say that my oil consumption has increased significantly since I've changed to this much healthier approach. Of course, critics will still say, you know, it has a non-stick coating still, of course, but I would say it's less, yeah. So less counts, and to me this is kind of sort of the best of both worlds, yeah, that you could create by and use. So yeah, definitely use a wok. It's up to you, your preference, what you like or what you find works for you. I won't judge. Yeah, but if you need judging, sure, let me know. I'm just going to put the rest of the stuff in, and then we can start the same thing again. So just finishing up with my celery. Fried rice doesn't really have a fixed must-have stuff, but of course try and use dry ingredients that are not soggy and wet. I don't use onions and garlic because of my the dietary reason, like I said, but I would normally, of course, use it. That could work or will work, as shown by plenty of food bloggers, and I'm not special in that sense either. Anyway. But okay, so I'm going to go add in the rice, and then we can start the whole charring process again. Remainder part of the rice, as you can see, it's blocked up nicely. You know, it holds its shape very nice. You know, I don't have any concerns. Looks fine. And yeah, most people will not believe that this is more or less been 1 hour, or a bit more than 1 hour, start to finish. So that's maybe a myth that you can also mention. I mean, the fact that you need to use the old rice, of course, I mean, it's up to you. At the end of the day, you do what you like, yeah, and what works for you. But, you know, you don't really need to. And this comes down to the choice of rice, yeah. Like I said, parboiled is very forgiving, so it's great, especially for this type of users. And we generally cook parboiled, not because, you know, we like to tell ourselves it's healthy, but for the price, the value in the West here, in Europe especially, it's really quite good. I mean, jasmine rice, of course, is the standard, but, you know, I would not, for my level of skill, want to use jasmine rice anyway, because the mushiness for me, yeah, it's probably beyond my skill level. But it's okay. I mean, different people have it differently. I should probably add a bit more oil because you can see some sticking at the bottom. So I'll just put a dab of oil down there before we start the charring process. So yeah, I mean, you definitely need oil. Yeah, it's fried rice without oil is a pipe dream, I think. So let's go back to our heat gun over here. And I'm keeping the heat low. And I'm going back. I'm just going to pump it up with the heat gun. So you could say, yeah, definitely with this approach you get a double of it, but yeah, you saw in the first video you don't really need it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course it's a nice to have. And it beats a flamethrower for safety reasons. But yeah, you don't have to pull around the wok if you're just cooking it without. So yeah, I mean, for considering do you really need one? There are other uses that we can use for the heat gun, which I'll show you in my later videos. I've got some really nice usage of it over the years. So I can show you that for sure. But do you really need one just for fried rice? No, not really. I mean, it's nice to have, yeah, and that's why I just want to show you today. Same with a flamethrower, yeah. Of course, the flamethrower looks awesome, and you can do it for other stuff, right? So I think the whole Wok Hei concept is there. But do you really need it to buy one for it? But if you really want to, and you want some comments, you want some tips on getting one, let me know. I mean, maybe you can do a video on my next use of this heat gun for other stuff, yeah. But for now, I'm just going to turn it off, and I'm going to go back into my boost mode, or be using my induction stove for the Wok Hei. So I'll just increase the temperature. I'm just going to go to 8, and then I'm going to start this part. Now we'll start putting in the corn, or the leftover of the corn maybe. Yeah, we've got some liquid left, but that wasn't very good at taking out. But yeah, you can see the rice. You've got clumps, so you need to break it up a bit. You don't really need to smash everything up. It depends on who you're feeding and how fussy they are. Yeah, so for home, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you've got clumps, the rice will not break down when it's not mushy. Right? You can see it's all individual grains. So this rice is good. I could keep going about the rice if you don't stop me, I guess. But yeah, let's finish up the rest of the corn. We're almost done with this. So remember, give it some extra heat because I think I don't have the heat up as high as I wanted to. So I'm going to show you the boost mode and how you do it with the heat. Yeah, so it's on the boost mode, and now you can hear the popping sound start. But with this type of wok, especially the non-stick material, it's important you don't straight away jump to boost mode. Oh, I got some burnt bits, you can see it there. And yeah, I can smell it a bit. So yeah, you can't say you can't get Wok Hei on at least an induction stove. Yeah, so induction has no problems with Wok Hei, I can tell you. And you don't need a heat gun to bring all of that. So, and in any case, don't crowd out your pan, give it space and give it time, and you'll definitely get that. So don't stress it too much. Yeah? And yeah, it's all a matter of practice and a matter of what you like and you don't like kind of thing. So yeah, feel free to experiment, and that's what cooking is about. Right? It's about experimenting and finding what works for you. So I would say I'm going to whoops, lost that guy. Yep, there we go, a whole bunch of Wok Hei. Yeah. Almost burnt out some pieces, but it's fine. And there you go. I mean, look at that. You can't say you don't have Wok Hei. You definitely have. Maybe not as much as you want from a giant stove, but like I said, I mean, I'm not the best at doing this anyway, so I'm very comfortable doing it like that. So it works very well for me. And I would think that for most home cooks, it would be the same. Yeah, so you fall to that trap that you need a super giant heat source to make good food. And yeah, just in time, I guess. My heat gun's now finished cooling. I'm going to add the last bit of soy sauce, and this is done. So you will see it. I haven't tasted it, but based on just now, I should be okay. Just a bit more. Let's finish up. Yes, I'm sure some people are going to complain that my rice is still clumpy, but yeah, I'm not that fussy about it. In any case, that's about it, I guess, for this video. I hope you like, and this was interesting for you, especially I know with this whole discussion around, do you need such a big stove, such a high-powered stove at home? And I hope I've shown you that no, the answer is no, you don't need to. Not even with a flamethrower. All that just looks nice. But yeah, look at that. I mean, yeah, taste was, I'm sure, fine. Yep, great. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm done. Like, subscribe to my videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, jemput makan, and see you. Bye.